Welcome to session number 2 of System Reset, a 10-minute dialogue to reboot your routines and optimize your inner mechanisms. Today, we'll be covering the engineering of focus, a practical guide to rewiring your attention. In our last session, we initiated the pause. Now, we move into the diagnostic phase, targeting the single greatest drain on our inner mechanisms, distraction. But today, let's begin with the engineering of attention. Mentor, imagine your attention is not an infinite wellspring, but a finite, precious resource. Like a carefully allocated power supply for your beautifully complex machine. Each day, you are given a specific amount of energy to direct toward your goals, your passions, your work. Seeker, I feel that by midday, it feels like my energy is scattered everywhere. I start with a clear goal, but then a notification here, an email there, a random thought, and suddenly my power grid is in a total blackout. I'm trying to rely on willpower, but it feels like I'm trying to hold back a flood with my bare hands. Mentor, precisely. Willpower is a noble but flawed strategy. It is exhaustible. The flood of distraction in our modern world is too immense. A wiser approach is not to fight the flood, but to engineer a new riverbed. To design a system where the water flows exactly where you intend it to. Focus is not a matter of willpower. It is a matter of superior engineering. Seeker, engineering my focus. That sounds complex. I'm not an engineer. I just want to be able to read a book for an hour without checking my phone a dozen times. Mentor, you are the chief engineer of your own system. The process is simpler than you think. It begins with creating a map. You cannot redirect a river without first understanding its current path. For the next 2 days, I want you to simply observe. Notice where your attention flows when it strays. Is it a specific app, a recurring thought pattern, a person who interrupts you? Keep a small log. No judgment, only data. This is your distraction landscape. Seeker, okay, I can do that. Just a log of every time I get distracted and what pulled me away. It's like running a diagnostic scan to find the energy leaks in the system. Mentor, exactly. Once you have your map, you become an architect of friction. The principle is simple. Make distractions harder to access and make focus easier to begin. This is friction design. If your phone is the primary leak, don't just put it on silent. Place it in another room. Log out of social media accounts on your computer after each use, forcing you to re-enter your password. Each small barrier, each layer of friction, gives your conscious mind a moment to ask, is this how I want to spend my energy right now? Seeker, that makes sense. Adding an extra step gives me a chance to override the impulse. But what about the other side? How do I make focus easier? How do I reduce the friction for deep work? Mentor, this is where you design your focus cues. You create a clear, unmistakable signal to your system that it is time for deep work. It could be a specific playlist, lighting a candle on your desk, or putting on a particular pair of headphones. You are creating a ritual. This ritual primes your environment and, more importantly, your internal mechanisms for the task ahead. You're no longer deciding to focus. You are simply initiating the pre-programmed sequence. Seeker, so I map the distractions, add friction to them, and create a frictionless ritual to start focusing. But what about maintaining it? The initial dive is one thing, but staying submerged is the real challenge. Mentor, this is where we run micro-experiments. Your system is unique. A method that works for one person may not work for you. We must test and iterate. The most famous is the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of focused work, followed by a 5-minute break. But do not be rigid. Experiment with the variables. Try 50 minutes of focus and a 10-minute break. Or try batching, where you group similar tasks into one large, uninterrupted block. Spend 2 hours answering all your emails for the day, and then close the program entirely. Seeker, so I could try a 50-minute block for writing, then a 10-minute break for a walk, and then maybe a 90-minute block for all my communication tasks. It's like customizing the software instead of just using the default settings. Mentor, you are the programmer. The goal of these experiments is to discover your personal rhythm, the duration that allows you to achieve a state of flow without burning out your circuits. You must track the results. Which experiment led to the most progress? Which one left you feeling energized versus drained? This data is critical for long-term optimization. Seeker, okay, this feels actionable. Arrière-plan. Map, design friction, prime my space, and then run small experiments to see what actually works for me. Mentor, this brings us to your assignment. I call it the Focus Lab. For the next 48 hours, you will run a dedicated experiment. First, based on your distraction map, choose the significant distractions and implement a friction design for each. Second, schedule your day using one of the micro-experiments we discussed, either a Pomodoro, variant, or task batching. Third, and most importantly, log your results. At the end of each day, write a short debrief. What worked? What failed? How did your energy levels feel? Seeker, a 48-hour focus lab. I'm choosing my phone and random web browsing as my 2 distractions. ILL put the phone in a box in another room and use a site blocker on my computer. I'll try the 50/10 minute cycle. I'm ready to run the diagnostic and reload my attention program. Mentor, excellent. Remember, the goal is not perfection. The goal is data. The goal is iteration. You are not just trying to be more productive. You are learning the very language of your own inner mechanisms. You are becoming the engineer of your own attention. This process of diagnosing and rewiring is the core of the system reset. Now, go begin your experiment. We will debrief in our next session.